Testing, 1, 2, 3. Warning, the following video may contain adult language and themes. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. If you have a problem with this, stop playing this video now. So, I just got done watching a Italian horror movie that was pretty bad. It's called A Lizard in a Woman's Skin. Interesting title. Sort of like The Laughing Windows or whatever the fuck that other one was. But it was released in 1971, and I think I may have been mistaken in thinking it's a horror movie, because it really isn't. Not in my opinion. It's categorized on Internet Movie Database under mystery thriller, which is probably more appropriate. It's rated R, 95 minutes, and its original title was, I think it's in Italian, was Una lucertola con la pelle di donna. Anyway, and it was directed by Lucio Fulci, which I've seen a few of his other movies in my foray into Italian horror movies, and I liked them, but I didn't like this one. I really didn't. Which is strange because it has a pretty high rating on Internet Movie Database. It has a 7.0, but that's only out of 2,200 users, though, so that's probably why. But it stars Florinda Bolkan, Stanley Baker. You don't really recognize any of these actors, but here's basically the plot synopsis. This woman, who's an upper class, I believe she's upper class English or something, and she lives in this apartment, and she lives next door to this very loud party girl who has parties going on all the time in her apartment. And this woman, man, what was her name? I can't remember her name. This is a very forgettable movie, but I think it was Carol Hammond. I think it was Carol Hammond. But she starts having dreams about this party woman who lives next door, like sexual dreams. Like she imagines she's partying with this woman and having sex with this woman, and she goes to her psychiatrist and talks about it and everything. And she doesn't even really know this next door neighbor that well, if at all. And she's just talking to her psychiatrist about it. And eventually, and her family comes over to eat, and she has a husband and a daughter, and they're like, oh, those noisy neighbors, and they try to ignore them all the time, and they're just party animals, and they just use drugs and stuff, but one night when it's raining and stormy outside, she has this dream. Well, actually, you don't know when she has this dream, but she has this dream that she murders her next door neighbor, the woman who lives next door, who's sort of a floozy. She murders her with her envelope knife. And she has this dream, and there are two witnesses, this guy and this girl hippie, who are like watching her from inside the apartment. So she murders her next door neighbor, and with a letter knife, and two hippies are watching her do it. And she wakes up and she describes it to her psychiatrist. And shortly thereafter, the police discover that the woman, the floozy who lives next door, has actually been murdered in her apartment and stabbed. And so the police go to question all the neighbors, and immediately when the woman finds out, she's all startled, and she's like, oh man, I must have, what does this mean? I didn't kill them, but I must have dreamt it or something. I must have these powers. And so it's this whole mystery, like, did she foresee it? Is she clairvoyant? Or did her dream actually do that to her? Or did she actually murder them? It's the whole mystery. And the problem with this, and that's what the whole movie is pretty much about. And the woman eventually, while she's just walking around town, sees the two hippies she saw in her dream, just walking around. So she's like, oh, they must have actually been there during the night of the murder, when it actually happened. Because, I've never seen those two people before, but I only saw them in my dream. So they must have been there when the woman was actually murdered. And so it is this whole, game of cat and mouse, where the police are trying to hunt down the real killers who actually did it, and they get into the whole case. And the problem with this movie is that it's way too complicated. There's all these, like, this weird guy, this Irish weird guy shows up, and he's like probably on drugs and stuff, and he admits to the murder, but he didn't actually do it, and that goes nowhere. Like, we don't even know why he admitted to the murder. I think he just, like, maybe that Floozy lived next door, like, I think, maybe he did something to his brother, but he didn't actually do it, yet he admits to it. So it's like this red herring they throw in for no reason. And that goes nowhere. He admits to it, but then they figure out, like, oh, he didn't do it. Like, cause, you know, he doesn't know all the particulars of it. So it's like, oh, he must be lying. But why did that guy do that then? It's just to throw you off. And then, um, what happens next? Basically, we find out that the main woman who had the vision, Carol Hammond, her husband is actually cheating on her. And then we find that we as the audience find this out, but no one else knows. And then we find out that her prints are on the knife in the apartment that they find, and her prints are all over like a coat they find in that woman's apartment. And they're like, oh, so it must be Carol Hammond. So they go and arrest her, but then they come to a conclusion. Well, just because her prints are on those things doesn't mean she actually did it. You know, somebody could have placed those things there. And so they get into this whole, and then her father, Carol Hammond's father, like, finds out that Carol Hammond's husband was cheating on her. So he's like, maybe the husband framed her, you know, to get rid of her. You know, I mean, it's this whole, like, oh my god, you don't know who did it, and it just gets all this web of tangledness, and like, and then the two hippies that the girl saw in her dream, you know, who witnessed the murder, you know, start trying to kill her, Carol Hammond. And so they're like, what's going on here? Why are they trying to kill her now? And it's like, if they didn't do it, then why are they trying to kill her? And it just gets into this whole web of just blah, it gets too complicated. I mean, and I know you may be saying, like, oh, you're a dumb fucking idiot that you can't understand this movie. Well, I mean, I don't think you should have to have a pen and a paper and need to keep notes and create a timeline of everything that happens and draw, like, diagrams to figure out what's going on in the movie. That's what you basically need to do in this movie. And this movie doesn't even feel like a horror movie, like I said. It feels like a soap opera. It feels like a soap opera. There aren't that many kills, and it's just, oh, and then the father of Carol Hammond, are you confused yet? The father of Carol Hammond finds out that her husband is cheating on her. So he finds out, and he was always suspicious because, like, he had gotten a phone call from this mysterious lady who sort of, like, hinted that Carol Hammond's husband was untrue or something, hinted at it, and so he's always suspected. And it turns out that he misinterpreted it. That phone call was actually from the woman who was killed next door, the floozy. Like, and it gets so complicated. And in my opinion, I didn't like this movie. I would probably give it like a 5.5. It really pissed me off. I'm gonna get into spoilers here pretty soon, but if you want the spoiler-free review, 5.5 out of 10. Really didn't like it. The only good thing about this movie, I'll say, is that there is a lot of nudity in it, and it's like, and at times it's almost like an erotic movie almost. So if you're into that kind of thing, but the problem with this movie, most Italian horror movies I've seen, while they have had really bad plots and really weird stories, they at least are directed really well and keep you hooked and make you care about the characters. This one didn't. Like, I didn't care. Carol Hammond is sort of the main character throughout it, and I really didn't care about her. I sort of cared about her, but like when she gets arrested, you know, like, she gets taken to a hospital because they think she's crazy, and she escapes, and like the two hippies that she witnessed in her dream start trying to kill her, and she just makes all these stupid mistakes while she's trying to escape the hippie. Even by horror movie standards, she's an idiot, and so I just didn't care about her anymore because she's not smart enough to want to live. So why should I care about her whether she lives or not? But yeah, I just didn't care about. This is a terrible fucking movie. Probably the worst of the Italian horror movies I've seen. I'm gonna get into spoilers here. God, the movie just gets really complicated. I probably confused the hell out of you, but basically what it turns out is, Carol Hammond was actually the one who killed, her next door neighbor. She was actually the one. She was having an affair with her next door neighbor, and her next door neighbor threatened her father, who was running for political office she was going to tell her father that she was sleeping with his daughter, so he basically blackmailed them. I mean, she basically blackmailed them, and so that's why Carol Hammond killed her. And it's just God. And so what she basically did, she pre-planned that. She made up that dream and told it to her psychologist, so they could possibly let her off on a crazy plea, because she was actually dreaming it up and it wasn't actually her. It was a split personality. It's so stupid. No one is that calculated. No one would take that risk. Like, I just didn't buy it. Like, really, she created that story up and then killed them. So she'd have that as an excuse, like, oh, I dreamt it, or it's just ridiculous. This movie is just, it's terrible. It was really terrible. Probably the worst Italian horror movie I've seen. Again, it was called A Lizard in a Woman's Skin. Yeah, really didn't like it. So, stay clear of this one. 5.5 out of 10. Take it easy. Bye.